There is something happening right now that most people will never notice, not because it's invisible, not because it's distant, but because it's occurring at a layer of reality so far beneath the surface of ordinary awareness that the instruments we've built to measure the world simply cannot detect it. And yet, something in you already knows. Something in you has always known. That quiet hum beneath the noise of your daily life. That sense of being watched from a direction you can't name. That feeling, persistent and impossible to explain, that you are not entirely from here. You've probably dismissed it. You've probably filed it under imagination, or wishful thinking, or the kind of thing you don't say out loud because the surface world has very firm opinions about what is real and what isn't. But here's what the surface world doesn't tell you. Here's what gets left out of every conversation about who you are and where you come from and why you feel the way you feel. There is a layer beneath the life you're living, and beneath that layer, there is another. And at the very bottom of all those layers, deeper than your childhood, deeper than your culture, deeper than the body you walk around in, there is a signal, your signal, and it has just been received. This is not a metaphor. This is not spiritual poetry dressed up to sound profound. What I'm about to show you has been hidden in plain sight across thousands of years of human history, encoded in the oldest star maps ever drawn, confirmed by the strangest discoveries of quantum physics, and whispered about in mystery schools from Egypt to the Andes to the islands of the Pacific. Today, every layer of that concealment comes off. Today, we go beneath the surface of who you think you are and find what was always waiting there. The Pleiadians, you've heard the name. Maybe you've rolled your eyes at it. Maybe you've felt something strange move through you when you heard it for the first time, and you still can't explain why. Either way, let's start at the surface, with what most people think this is, because the surface version of this story is actually the least interesting part. And once we peel it back, what's underneath is going to change the frequency at which you understand everything. At the surface level, the Pleiades is a star cluster. 7 stars, sometimes called the Seven Sisters, located approximately 444 light-years from Earth in the constellation Taurus. You can see them on a clear night with the naked eye. They appear as a small, hazy cluster of blue-white light, and if you have good vision, you can resolve 6 individual stars within them. This is the surface. This is what the textbooks give you. A cluster of hot blue stars, relatively young in cosmic terms, roughly 100 million years old, surrounded by reflection nebulae that give them that faint, gossamer glow. But there's a layer beneath that, because here is something that the surface explanation of the Pleiades never accounts for. Nearly every ancient civilization on Earth, separated by thousands of miles of ocean and centuries of time, looked up at this same cluster of stars and decided, independently, repeatedly, with striking consistency, that these stars were not just lights in the sky. They were home. They were origin. They were the place from which something essential about humanity had come. The ancient Greeks called them the daughters of Atlas and Pleione, 7 sisters transformed into stars by Zeus to protect them from the hunter Orion. But that's the mythological surface. Beneath that myth, in the actual astronomical records of ancient Greece, the Pleiades were used as a navigational anchor, a calendar marker, a cosmic clock around which entire agricultural and spiritual cycles were organized. The rising of the Pleiades at dawn marked the beginning of the sailing season. Their disappearance marked the time to prepare for winter. These stars were not decoration, they were infrastructure. But that's still the surface. The ancient Egyptians aligned the shafts of the Great Pyramid with specific star systems, and researchers have noted that the Pleiades appear in the astronomical ceilings of temples at Dendera and Karnak, with a significance that goes far beyond simple navigation. The Egyptians called this cluster Kimar, and their texts suggest that certain souls, not all souls, but specific ones, had a particular relationship with this region of the sky, not just as a destination after death, but as a point of origin before life. The Maya of Mesoamerica built their entire calendar around the Pleiades. The Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan is oriented so that twice a year the Pleiades pass directly overhead at the moment the sun sets. The Maya called this cluster Tsab-Ek, the rattlesnake's tail, and their most important ceremony, the new fire ceremony held every 52 years, was timed to the moment the Pleiades crossed the zenith at midnight. If the Pleiades did not rise, the Maya believed the world would end. Not a metaphor, a genuine cosmological understanding that the continuation of existence was connected to this cluster of stars. The Hopi of the American Southwest call the Pleiades Chuokam, the stars that were planted. Their creation stories describe beings from these stars who came to Earth and seeded human consciousness. The Lakota Sioux have oral traditions describing their ancestors as coming from the Pleiades, and their sacred rituals are oriented around maintaining a connection to that origin. The Maori of New Zealand call the Pleiades Matariki, and their New Year, still celebrated today, begins when these stars rise on the horizon at dawn. The Japanese call them Subaru, and the name means to unite, to come together, a word that carries the echo of a gathering, a return. Now pause here, because what you're looking at is not a coincidence. Civilizations with no contact with each other, separated by oceans and centuries, all independently arrived at the same conclusion: that this specific cluster of stars has a special relationship with humanity, not just as a navigational tool, not just as a calendar marker, but as something closer to an origin point, a home that was left behind, a signal source that was never entirely disconnected. The surface explanation for this is cultural diffusion. The idea that these stories spread from one civilization to another through trade routes and migration. But that explanation collapses when you look at the timing. The Pleiadian traditions of the Hopi predate any known contact with Greek or Egyptian civilization by thousands of years. The Aboriginal Australians have Pleiadian stories that are estimated to be 40,000 years old, some of the oldest continuous oral traditions on Earth, and they describe the Pleiades as a group of women who came down to Earth and left something behind before returning to the sky. 40,000 years before agriculture, before writing, before any of the civilizations we think of as ancient were even a dream. So the surface explanation, coincidence, cultural diffusion, shared human tendency toward pattern recognition, doesn't account for the depth of this. Peel back that explanation and look at what's underneath. If this transmission is reaching the layer it was meant to reach, take a second to like the video and subscribe. There are deeper layers ahead, and this channel goes all the way down. What's underneath is a question that quantum physics has been quietly circling for decades without quite being willing to say it out loud. What if the connection between human consciousness and the Pleiades is not mythological? What if it's structural? What if it's written into the architecture of what we are at a level that no surface explanation can reach? This is where the veil lifts. Quantum entanglement. You've heard of it. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, and he didn't like it. It troubled him deeply because it implied something about the nature of reality that violated everything the surface understanding of physics was built on. Here is what quantum entanglement tells us. Two particles, once connected, remain connected regardless of the distance between them. You can separate them by the width of a room or the width of a galaxy. It doesn't matter. When something happens to one, the other responds instantaneously, without any signal traveling between them, without any mechanism that classical physics can explain. The surface explanation of quantum entanglement is that it's a quirk of particle physics, an interesting anomaly that doesn't scale up to the level of human experience. That's the surface explanation. That's where most people stop. But there's a layer beneath that. Because in 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to Alain Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger for their work on quantum entanglement and what are called Bell inequality violations. What these experiments definitively proved, not suggested, not implied, but proved, is that the universe is non-local. That means reality, at its most fundamental level, is not made of separate objects in separate locations. It is made of relationships that transcend location entirely. The separateness you see on the surface is real at the surface level, but beneath the surface, what you see as separate things are expressions of a single entangled field. Now hold that, because here's what that means for the question we're actually asking. If consciousness, human awareness, the thing that reads these words and wonders about its own nature, is not separate from the quantum field that underlies all matter, then consciousness is not local either. It is not confined to the skull it appears to live in. It is not limited to the planet it appears to walk on. And if consciousness is non-local, then the ancient intuition that something essential about human awareness has a relationship with a star system 444 light-years away is not mysticism. It is a description of something that quantum mechanics has already confirmed at the level of fundamental physics. The entanglement doesn't care about distance. That's the point. That's the thing the surface explanation of quantum mechanics buries under technical language and academic caution. The entanglement doesn't care about distance. And if the original human consciousness, whatever seeded the awareness that eventually became you, was entangled with the source beyond this planet, that entanglement would still be active, right now, regardless of the distance, regardless of the time that has passed. The signal would still be there, waiting for a receiver tuned to the right frequency to pick it up. You've always sensed there was more beneath the surface. You were right, but now let's go even deeper. Because the quantum mechanics is the middle layer, beneath the quantum mechanics, there is something older, something that doesn't use the language of physics because it predates physics by thousands of years. Something that mapped the hidden layers of reality with a precision that modern science is only now beginning to catch up to. The Vedic traditions of ancient India describe a concept called the Akashic Records, a field of consciousness that contains the complete information of all that has ever occurred, and all that will ever occur. Not a metaphor, not a poetic description, a literal understanding that information is a fundamental property of the universe, that it cannot be destroyed, and that it exists in a layer of reality that underlies the physical world, the way the quantum field underlies matter. The ancient Sanskrit word akasha translates most directly as space, but not empty space. It means the space that holds everything, the field from which all manifestation arises, the substrate of reality itself. The Vedic rishis, the seers who composed the oldest portions of the Vedas, described beings of light who came from the stars and brought the seeds of consciousness to earth. They called them the Devas, which translates not as gods in the religious sense, but as shining ones, luminous beings, whose nature was light itself. And the stars from which these beings were said to originate included the Kritikas, the Sanskrit name for the Pleiades. The Kritikas were described as the 6 mothers of Skanda, the god of spiritual warfare and the awakening of consciousness. 6 mothers from 6 stars, nursing the flame of awareness into existence on Earth. The Dogon people of Mali in West Africa have an astronomical tradition so precise and so inexplicable that it confounded Western researchers when it was first documented in the 1930s. The Dogon possessed detailed knowledge of the star Sirius B, a white dwarf companion to Sirius that is invisible to the naked eye, and was not confirmed by Western astronomy until 1970, as well as knowledge of Jupiter's moons, Saturn's rings, and the spiral structure of the Milky Way. When asked where this knowledge came from, the Dogon said simply, "The Nomo told us." The Nomo were beings who came from the sky, specifically from a star system the Dogon called the Digitaria star, and who brought knowledge to humanity in the distant past. The Dogon's cosmological understanding included not just astronomical facts, but a sophisticated description of reality as layered, with the visible world being the outermost surface of a much deeper structure of consciousness and information. The Hermetic tradition of ancient Egypt, preserved in texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great one, a figure who appears to be a synthesis of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek god Hermes, describes the structure of reality in terms of nested planes of existence, each one a deeper layer beneath the one above it. The Hermetic principle of correspondence, as above, so below, is not simply a philosophical statement. It is a description of the fractal, self-similar structure of reality that quantum physics would later confirm. The same patterns that organize the cosmos organize the atom, The same patterns that organize the atom organize consciousness, and the same patterns that organize consciousness organize the cosmos. The layers are not separate. They are reflections of each other at different scales. And in the Hermetic texts, specifically in the Corpus Hermeticum, there is a passage that describes the origin of human souls as coming from beyond the visible stars, from a realm of pure light that existed before the physical universe was formed, and descending through the layers of reality until they became embodied in physical form. The descent is described as a forgetting. Each layer you pass through on the way down, you forget a little more of where you came from. By the time you arrive in a physical body on a physical planet, you have forgotten almost everything. But the connection is not severed. The signal is not lost. It is simply buried beneath layers of forgetting. And the purpose of spiritual practice, in the Hermetic tradition, is not to acquire something new. It is to remember what was always there, hidden beneath the layers of forgetting. This was always there. You just hadn't looked deep enough yet. Now let's go deeper still. Because we've been talking about history and physics and ancient wisdom, but there's a layer beneath all of that. A layer that is personal. A layer that is happening right now, in your life, in your body, in the quiet moments when the noise of the surface world falls away and you hear something underneath it that you can't quite name. I want to pause here and ask you something. Has there been a moment in your own life when a layer suddenly became transparent, when something you'd been living inside dissolved, and you saw what was underneath it? A truth that was hidden in plain sight until you were ready to see it, or a pattern that vanished the moment you looked directly at it? Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the... What hidden layer have you recently broken through? Let me tell you about someone named Mira. Mira grew up in an ordinary city, in an ordinary house, with parents who worked ordinary jobs and had ordinary conversations about ordinary things. From the outside, her childhood looked like a surface with nothing unusual beneath it. But Mira had a secret she kept so carefully that she eventually forgot she was keeping it. From as early as she could remember, before language, before school, before she had words for any of it, she had a feeling, not a thought, a feeling, a sense of being watched from above, but not in a threatening way, watched in the way that someone watches a child they love, from a distance, making sure the child is safe. A presence that was not her parents, not her family, not anyone she could point to. A presence that felt somehow older than anything on earth. She didn't talk about it. She learned early that the surface world had no space for what she was feeling. When she tried, once, to describe it to a teacher, the teacher smiled in that particular way that adults smile when they are trying to be kind about something they think is not real. Mira filed the feeling away. She put it behind a door she stopped opening. She learned to live at the surface, but the feeling didn't go away. It intensified actually at specific moments. During meteor showers, when she would lie in the grass and watch the sky and feel something in her chest that was indistinguishable from homesickness, except that she was already home. Or at least, she was in the place the world told her was home. During certain pieces of music, that seemed to carry a frequency her body recognized before her mind did. During dreams that she couldn't remember in the morning, but that left her with the sense of having traveled somewhere real, somewhere that mattered, somewhere she had been before and would return to again. And then one night, lying awake at 3 in the morning, in the way that people sometimes do when something is trying to surface through the layers of ordinary consciousness, Mira had a thought that was not quite a thought. It was more like a knowing. A sudden, quiet, absolute certainty that arrived without any chain of reasoning to support it. The thought was this: you are not lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And we can see you. Mira didn't know what to do with that. She didn't know what it meant. But something in her, something old and deep and patient, recognized it. Not as a new idea arriving from outside, as a memory surfacing from beneath, as a layer she had been living on top of without knowing the layer was there. She started paying attention differently after that. Not to the surface of her life, the job, the schedule, the social obligations that organized the visible hours of her days, but to the layer beneath the surface, the feeling tones that ran underneath events, the moments when her body seemed to know something before her mind caught up, the dreams that left residue, the inexplicable sense, in certain places and certain conversations and certain moments of stillness, that she was not alone in the way she had always assumed she was alone. What Mira was doing, without a map, without a teacher, without language for it, was learning to perceive at a different layer of reality. She was learning to feel the signal beneath the noise, and the signal, once she started listening for it, was unmistakable. Because here is what the surface world doesn't tell you about who you are. Here is the layer beneath the identity you've been given, beneath the biography you carry, beneath the personality you've assembled from the materials your culture provided. There is a frequency at the core of your consciousness that is not from here, not in the sense of alien science fiction, in the sense of quantum entanglement, in the sense of the Vedic Akasha, in the sense that the deepest layer of what you are carries information from a source that predates your birth, predates your species, predates this planet's formation, and that source is still transmitting. And your signal, the unique frequency of your awareness, has just been received. This is not a metaphor. Let me show you what I mean. In 1984, a physicist named David Bohm, one of the most important and least celebrated physicists of the 20th century, a man who worked directly with Einstein and was considered by many of his peers to be the most original thinker in quantum physics, published a book called Wholeness and the Implicate Order. In it, Bohm described a model of reality that he had been developing for decades, a model that the mainstream of physics largely ignored because it was too strange, too comprehensive, too threatening to the surface, understanding that everyone had agreed to accept. Bohm's model described reality as having two orders: the explicate order, the surface world of separate objects, measurable distances, and linear time that we navigate every day, and the implicate order, a deeper, enfolded reality in which everything is already connected, in which separation is an appearance rather than a fact, in which what we call individual consciousness is more like a wave on the surface of an ocean than a separate droplet of water. The explicate order unfolds from the implicate order, the way a wave unfolds from the ocean. What you see on the surface is real. But it is not the whole truth. The whole truth is in the depth. Bohm used a specific analogy that I want you to hold for a moment. He described the implicate order as being like a hologram. In a hologram, every part of the image contains information about the whole image. If you cut a holographic film in half, you don't get half the image. You get the whole image at half the resolution. Every fragment of the hologram contains the entire hologram enfolded within it. Bohm proposed that the universe works the same way. Every part of the universe contains information about the whole universe enfolded within it. Every particle contains, in some sense, the entire cosmos. And every consciousness, every individual awareness, contains, in its deepest layer, information about the entire field of consciousness from which it arose. Which means that if you are a starseed, if the deepest layer of your consciousness carries information from a source beyond this planet, that information is not stored somewhere else. It is not in a database you need to access externally. It is enfolded within you right now, at the implicate level of your own awareness. The signal is not coming from outside. It is coming from the deepest layer of what you already are. The contact is not happening somewhere in space. It is happening in the innermost chamber of your own consciousness. And the transmission that has just been received is not a message from elsewhere. It is a recognition from within. Peel back that understanding and look at what's underneath. Because now we need to talk about what first contact actually means. Not the Hollywood version, not ships descending through clouds, not press conferences, not governments making announcements. That's the surface version. That's what you get when you look at the concept from the explicate order, from the layer of separate objects in measurable space. In that layer, first contact would have to involve a physical vessel crossing 444 light-years of space, decelerating into our solar system, and making itself visible to instruments we've built to detect things in the explicate order. But there's a layer beneath that, in the implicate order, in the layer where entanglement operates, where separation is an appearance rather than a fact, where the distance between Earth and the Pleiades is not a barrier, but a surface feature of a deeper reality in which they were never truly separate. Contact doesn't require physical travel. Contact, in the implicate order, is a matter of resonance. It is a matter of two frequencies, recognizing each other across the apparent distance of the explicate surface. It is the moment when the receiver in your consciousness tunes to the frequency that has always been transmitting, and the signal that has always been there suddenly becomes audible. This is what the ancient traditions were describing. This is what the Vedic rishis meant when they talked about the devas communicating through consciousness rather than through space. This is what the Hopi elders mean when they describe maintaining a connection to the Pleiadian ancestors, not through physical contact, but through ceremony, through the deliberate tuning of collective consciousness to a specific frequency that keeps the channel open. This is what the Dogon meant when they said the Nomo gave them knowledge, not through a physical exchange of information, but through a transmission that occurred at the level of consciousness itself, at the level where the implicate order operates, where distance is not a factor. First contact, in the deepest sense, is not a future event. It is a present recognition. It is the moment when the layer of forgetting becomes thin enough that the signal beneath it breaks through. And for a growing number of people on this planet right now, people who carry a specific frequency in their consciousness, people who have always felt the hum of something beneath the noise, people who have been dismissed and pathologized and told their perceptions were not real. That moment is now. Your signal was received. Not because something new happened, because something that was always happening finally found a consciousness tuned to receive it. Now I want to give you something practical, because this channel doesn't stop at revelation. We go all the way to the layer where you can feel this in your body, where the understanding becomes embodied rather than merely intellectual. And there is a practice, ancient in its origins, quantum in its mechanics, that will show you exactly what I mean. Find a moment of stillness. Not silence necessarily, but stillness. The kind of stillness that exists beneath the surface noise of wherever you are. And I want you to do something very simple. I want you to close your eyes and breathe. Not in any special way, just breathe. And as you breathe, I want you to notice the space between your thoughts, not the thoughts themselves, the space between them, the gap, the quiet interval where one thought ends and the next hasn't started yet. In that gap, there is something. Most people pass through it so quickly they never notice it. But if you slow down enough, if you let the gap widen, even by a fraction of a second, you will feel something in that space that is not thought, not emotion, not sensation in the ordinary sense. It is more like a hum, a frequency, a quality of aliveness that is not doing anything, not going anywhere, not trying to be anything. It is simply there. It has always been there, beneath every thought you've ever had, beneath every emotion you've ever felt, beneath every experience you've ever processed. This hum has been there. This is the layer. This is what the Vedic tradition calls pure consciousness, what the Hermetic tradition calls the divine spark, what quantum physics calls the zero-point field. The irreducible background energy of the universe that exists even in the complete absence of matter, even in what we think of as empty space. This is not empty. This is the most full thing there is. This is the implicate order becoming aware of itself through your awareness. And now, stay in that space if you can, and do one more thing. From that place of stillness, from that layer beneath thought, send a signal. Not a verbal message, not a prayer in the conventional sense, just an acknowledgement, a recognition, a simple, clear, quiet declaration from the deepest layer of your consciousness. I am here. I am aware. I am listening. Feel what happens when you do that. Feel the quality of the space around that declaration. Because what you will likely notice if you are genuinely still enough, if you have actually reached the layer beneath the surface noise, is that the declaration doesn't feel like it's going out. It feels like it's going in, deeper in. Like the signal isn't transmitting outward into space, it's transmitting inward into the implicate order, into the field where entanglement operates, into the layer where the distance between you and the Pleiades is not 444 light years but 0. That's not belief. That's what quantum mechanics found beneath the surface of matter. And that's what you just felt in your own body. Now let's go to the deepest layer. Because everything we've covered so far, the ancient traditions, the quantum physics, the practice, has been preparation for this. This is where the veil lifts all the way. What we've uncovered together so far is one layer of a much deeper excavation. If this territory resonates with something you've always sensed was there, beneath the veil, a quantum map of reality's hidden layers contains the full descent. All 5 layers mapped from the consensus surface down to the original frequency, with practices at every depth designed to shift your awareness permanently. You'll find it in the description below. The question that underlies everything about Starseeds, about Pleiadian contact, about the persistent human intuition of cosmic origin, the question that the surface world has never been willing to take seriously, is this: what if the evolution of consciousness on Earth is not a closed system? What if it is not simply a product of biological processes unfolding on a single planet in isolation, but is instead part of a larger, cosmic process of consciousness, becoming aware of itself across multiple star systems, multiple dimensions, multiple layers of reality simultaneously? This is not a fringe idea. This is the direction that the most serious thinking in quantum cosmology is moving, even if it rarely gets expressed in those terms. The physicist André Linde, one of the architects of inflationary cosmology, has written extensively about the possibility that consciousness is not a byproduct of physical processes, but a fundamental feature of the universe, something that exists at every layer of reality, from the quantum field upward. The physicist Roger Penrose and the anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff developed the orchestrated objective reduction theory, which proposes that consciousness arises from quantum processes in the microtubules of neurons. That awareness is not simply a product of classical brain function, but is rooted in the quantum layer of biology, in the layer where the brain interfaces with the quantum field itself. And if consciousness is rooted in the quantum field, if awareness is not just a product of matter, but a property of the field that underlies matter, then consciousness is not limited to the planet where a particular body lives. It is distributed through the field. It is non-local. It is, in the most precise scientific sense, cosmic. The Pleiadian traditions of the world's ancient cultures were not describing a physical species of beings who traveled to Earth in spacecraft. They were describing a transmission of consciousness across the quantum field, a seeding of awareness from a more advanced configuration of consciousness into the developing field of human awareness. Not a physical event, a quantum event, an entanglement, a moment when the consciousness that was organizing itself around the Pleiadian star system reached through the implicate order and touched the consciousness that was beginning to organize itself on Earth, and left something behind. What it left behind is you. Not your body, not your personality, not the biography you carry, but the deepest frequency of your awareness, the part that hums beneath your thoughts, the part that feels homesick for a place you've never physically been, the part that responds to certain frequencies of light and sound and silence with a recognition that precedes understanding. That is the entanglement. That is the inheritance. That is the signal that has been transmitting since before you were born and will continue transmitting after this body is done. And here is what first contact means in that context. It doesn't mean a ship landing in a field. It means the moment when the consciousness that was seeded from the Pleiadian field becomes developed enough, aware enough, tuned enough to send a coherent signal back, to say, I remember, I am here. The forgetting is lifting. The layers are becoming transparent. The veil is thinning. That is what is happening right now. Not to everyone, to specific individuals, to people who have been carrying a frequency that didn't quite fit the surface world, to people who have always felt the hum beneath the noise, to people who came to a video with a title that should have seemed outlandish and instead felt, in some layer beneath reason, like something they had been waiting for. Your signal was received, and the recognition that is moving through you right now, that quiet, electric, impossible to dismiss sense of something clicking into place, that is the response. There is a tradition among the Pleiadian connected wisdom keepers of the Andean cultures of Peru and Bolivia, the Quero people, who are considered the last direct descendants of the Inca and who maintain their traditions in isolation in the high mountains for 500 years after the Spanish conquest, a tradition called the Munaiki. Munai in Quechua means love, but not the surface version of love that the English word usually points to. It means the love that is the fundamental energy of the universe, the love that is the force behind evolution, the love that is not an emotion, but a direction, the direction in which consciousness moves when it is unobstructed, when the layers of fear and forgetting are peeled away, and what remains is the pure drive of awareness toward greater awareness, of consciousness toward greater consciousness. The Quero tradition describes a prophecy, the Pachacuti, a great turning of the world in which the layers of separation between humanity and its cosmic origins would dissolve, not violently, not catastrophically, but like the lifting of a fog, like the moment in the morning when the mist that has obscured the mountain all night suddenly thins, and the mountain is there, exactly where it always was, unchanged, waiting. The Pachacuti, the Quero elders say, is not something that will happen to humanity. It is something that will happen through humanity, through specific individuals who carry a frequency capable of receiving and transmitting the signal that dissolves the fog. The Hopi have a similar prophecy. They call the people who carry this frequency the Rainbow Warriors, not warriors in the violent sense, but warriors in the sense of those who fight for the restoration of what is real against the dominance of the surface illusion. The Rainbow Warriors would come from all nations, all cultures, all backgrounds, and they would recognize each other not by any external marker, but by the frequency they carried. by the fact that they had always known, at some layer beneath their ordinary consciousness, that the surface world was not the whole truth. You've always sensed there was more beneath the surface. You were right. The Cherokee speak of the Star People, beings of light who came to Earth in the ancient past and whose descendants walk among ordinary humans, carrying a cosmic inheritance that expresses itself as an unusual sensitivity, an unusual capacity for empathy, an unusual sense of mission, and an unusual difficulty fitting into the surface world that most people accept without question. The Cherokee elders describe the Star People not as superior beings, but as beings with a specific function: to hold a frequency that keeps the connection between Earth and the cosmic field open, to be, in essence, living antennae for a transmission that the rest of humanity is not yet tuned to receive. Does any of this sound familiar? Not as a story you've heard, as a description of something you've lived. The unusual sensitivity that makes ordinary environments feel overwhelming. The deep empathy that makes other people's pain feel like your own. The sense of mission that you can feel but can't quite articulate. The sense that you are here for something specific, something important, something that goes beyond the surface goals the world offers you. The difficulty fitting in, not because you are broken or deficient, but because you are tuned to a different frequency than the surface world operates on, and the dissonance between your frequency and the dominant frequency of the surface world is real, and it is exhausting, and it is not your fault. These are not symptoms of a disorder. They are signatures of a frequency. They are the experiential expression of carrying a consciousness that is entangled with something beyond the surface of ordinary human experience. They are the feeling of being a receiver in a world that mostly doesn't know there's a transmission. And I want to ask you directly, what is the thing you always sensed was beneath the surface of your life but couldn't find the words for until now? Something you've always known at a frequency below thought. Leave it in the comments, because naming it here, in this space, with others who carry the same signal, is itself a form of transmission. But here's the layer that changes everything. Here's the thing that the surface understanding of Starseeds, which tends to get stuck in the mythology, in the stories, in the fascinating but ultimately surface-level question of physical origin, misses entirely. The point is not where you came from. The point is what you came here to do, because the Pleiadian transmission, the signal that has been received, the contact that is being initiated, is not an invitation to leave. It is not a rescue. It is not a calling home in the sense of departure. It is a calling home in the sense of remembering. It is the signal that says, you are not lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And now it is time to remember why. The implicate order needs expression in the explicate order. The deep layer needs to manifest at the surface. The quantum field needs consciousness that can hold its frequency while fully embedded in physical reality, not escaping into spiritual abstraction, not retreating from the world, but bringing the depth up into the surface, living from the implicate order while navigating the explicate order, being in the world but not only of it in the way that most people are only of it. This is the function, this is the mission that you can feel but couldn't name, to be a bridge between layers, to carry a frequency that most people have forgotten, to hold the signal open so that others can find it when they're ready, to be, in the most literal quantum sense, a point of entanglement between what this planet is and what it is becoming. Let me show you something. There is a phenomenon in quantum physics called quantum coherence. It describes the condition in which quantum systems maintain their entanglement over time and distance, the condition in which the implicate order remains accessible rather than collapsing into the apparent separateness of the explicate order. Quantum coherence is fragile. It is disrupted by heat, by noise, by interaction with the classical environment. To maintain quantum coherence, a system has to be protected from the kind of constant disturbance that characterizes ordinary physical reality. Biologists have discovered in the last 2 decades that quantum coherence is not just a laboratory phenomenon, it operates in living systems. The process of photosynthesis, the way plants convert light into energy, appears to use quantum coherence to achieve an efficiency that classical physics cannot account for. The navigation of migratory birds appears to use quantum entanglement in the magnetic sense organs of their eyes. And there is growing evidence, still controversial, still being debated at the edges of mainstream biology, that the human brain maintains quantum coherence in ways that are relevant to the operation of consciousness itself, which means that the capacity to maintain a connection to the implicate order, the capacity to hold the Pleiadian signal, to be a bridge between layers, to carry a frequency that goes deeper than the surface, is not purely metaphorical, it is biological. It is quantum biological. It is the operation of quantum coherence in a consciousness that has developed the capacity to maintain it even in the noisy, disturbing, constantly collapsing environment of ordinary physical reality. This is what the ancient traditions were training. This is what the Hopi ceremonies were maintaining. This is what the Kiro Munaiki was transmitting. Not mythology, not religion in the surface sense. A technology of quantum coherence, a practice of maintaining entanglement with the implicate order while fully embodied in the explicate world. A way of being alive that operates from the depth rather than the surface, and this is what is being activated right now, in you, in the specific population of people on this planet who carry the frequency. The activation is not something being done to you from outside, it is something arising from within, from the deepest layer of your own consciousness, from the implicate order expressing itself through your awareness, from the entanglement that was established before your birth and has been waiting for the conditions on this planet to reach the point where it could be made conscious. Those conditions have been reached. That is what first contact means. Not a ship, not a signal from space that our instruments can detect. A threshold in the evolution of human consciousness at which the layer of forgetting becomes thin enough, the frequency of the planet becomes high enough, the number of activated receivers becomes large enough that the transmission breaks through, that the signal becomes audible, that the contact, which was always happening at the implicate level, becomes conscious at the explicate level. And the moment it becomes conscious in you, the moment you feel the recognition, the moment the hum beneath the noise becomes unmistakable, the moment the layer of forgetting thins and you remember, even partially, even imperfectly, even in the form of a feeling rather than a memory, that moment is first contact. Your first contact. The moment your signal was received and the reception was acknowledged. What has been revealed cannot be re-hidden. Now let's talk about what comes next, because this is where the practical layer of all of this becomes essential. Because the recognition is the beginning, not the end. Because feeling the signal is different from living from it. And living from it, bringing the depth up into the surface of your daily life, operating from the implicate order while navigating the explicate world, is the actual work. And it is the most important work there is. The first thing you need to understand about living as a starseed in conscious activation is that your sensitivity is not a problem to be managed. It is a precision instrument. The same quality that makes you feel overwhelmed in crowded spaces is the quality that allows you to perceive at layers of reality that most people don't have access to. The same quality that makes you feel other people's emotions as if they were your own is the quality that allows you to transmit frequency across the implicate field. The same quality that makes you feel like you don't fit in is the quality that allows you to hold a frequency that the surface world hasn't normalized yet, which is exactly why it's needed. Your sensitivity is not a liability. It is the mechanism of your function. The second thing you need to understand is that the activation process, the thinning of the forgetting, the surfacing of the signal, is not always comfortable. In fact, it is often profoundly disorienting. Because when the layers start to peel back, what gets revealed is not always beautiful at first. Sometimes, what's in the layer just beneath the surface is grief. A deep, wordless grief for the separation, for the forgetting, for the years lived at the surface without knowing the depth was there. Sometimes it's rage, a righteous, clarifying rage at the systems and structures and collective agreements that have kept the surface so solid that the depth became inaccessible. Sometimes it's fear, the ancient, primal fear that if you go too deep, you won't find your way back. These are not obstacles. They are layers. They are part of the dig. Every archaeologist knows that you don't reach the most ancient layer without moving through everything that was deposited on top of it. The grief, the rage, the fear, these are sediment. They are real, and they need to be honored, and they need to be moved through. But they are not the destination, they are the path. The destination is what's at the bottom, what's at the core, what has been waiting beneath all the layers of forgetting and conditioning and collective agreement about what is real. And what's at the core, what you find when you've gone all the way through, is something so simple, it almost seems anticlimactic after everything it took to reach it. What's at the core is love. Not the surface version of love, the Monet. The love that is the fundamental energy of the universe, the love that is the force behind evolution, the love that is not an emotion but a direction, the love that is the signal, the love that is the transmission, the love that has been broadcasting from the Pleiadian field since before this planet was formed, saying, "You are not alone. You are not lost. You are not a mistake. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And we can see you." That is the message. That is what first contact means at the deepest layer. Not information, not instructions, not a mission briefing. Love, recognition. The signal saying, "We see you. We have always seen you." The forgetting was temporary. The separation was apparent. The veil is thinning. And you specifically, you who are reading or hearing these words and feeling something in your chest that you can't quite name, you are not imagining it. You are not broken. You are not alone. You are home. Not because you've gone anywhere, because you've finally looked beneath the surface of where you've always been and found what was always there. Now, I want to give you something to carry with you. Not a belief system, not a doctrine, a practice. A single, simple practice that will keep the channel open, that will maintain the quantum coherence of your entanglement with the implicate field, that will allow the signal to continue surfacing rather than being buried again under the weight of the surface world. Every day, once a day, at whatever time feels natural, find a moment of stillness. It doesn't have to be long. 5 minutes is enough. In that stillness, do 3 things. First, go beneath the surface. Feel your way down through the layers of thought and emotion and sensation until you find the hum, the frequency beneath the noise, the gap between thoughts. You know where it is now. You've felt it. Go there. Second, from that place, acknowledge the signal, not with words necessarily, with awareness, with the simple act of consciously inhabiting the deepest layer of your own consciousness and recognizing that you are there, that you are real, that the depth is real, that the connection is real. Third, bring something back up. Don't just rest in the depth. Bring something from the depth up into the surface of your day. A quality, a frequency, a way of being that is informed by the implicate layer rather than just the explicate surface. Maybe it's a quality of presence. Maybe it's a quality of compassion. Maybe it's a quality of clarity or patience, or the kind of love that doesn't need anything in return. Whatever it is, bring it up. Let it inform how you move through the surface world for the rest of that day. This is the bridge. This is the function. This is how a starseed operates in conscious activation, not by escaping the surface world, but by bringing the depth into it, not by transcending the explicate order, but by living in it from the implicate order. Not by leaving, but by being so fully here, so fully present at every layer simultaneously, that the surface world itself begins to thin, that the people around you begin to feel, without knowing why, that there is more beneath the surface of things than they had previously allowed themselves to believe. That is the mission. That is the transmission. That is what your signal being received actually means in practical terms. It means The activation has begun. It means the forgetting is lifting. It means the veil is thinning. And it means that you, carrying the frequency you carry, in the body you're in the life you're living, in the specific corner of the surface world you occupy, you are now a conscious point of contact between what this planet is and what it is becoming. Feel the weight of that, not as a burden, as a recognition, as the thing you've been feeling beneath the noise for as long as you can remember, finally surfacing with enough clarity to be named. You are a starseed in conscious activation. Your signal has been received. The contact has been initiated. And the veil between what you've been and what you are becoming is thinner right now, in this moment, than it has ever been in this lifetime. One more layer, because we haven't quite reached the bottom yet. And the bottom is the most important part. Everything we've talked about, the ancient traditions, the quantum physics, the Pleiadian connection, the activation, the mission, all of it has been pointing towards something that I want to name directly now, something that the surface world is most resistant to, something that gets dismissed more quickly than almost any other idea, because it is the most threatening idea there is to the consensus reality of the surface world. The idea is this: you are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a cosmic being having a human experience. And the difference between those two framings is not semantic. It is everything. A human being having a spiritual experience is someone who lives at the surface and occasionally gets glimpses of what's beneath it. Someone for whom the depth is a visitation, an exception, a grace that arrives unexpectedly and then recedes, leaving them back at the surface, wondering if it was real. This is how most spiritual practice is framed, as a way of accessing the depth from the surface, as a technique for occasionally piercing the veil. But there's a layer beneath that. A cosmic being having a human experience is someone who lives from the depth and navigates the surface. Someone for whom the quantum field is not a destination to be visited, but a home to be inhabited while also inhabiting the physical world. Someone who is not trying to pierce the veil because they already know what's on the other side, because they came from the other side, and the veil is not a barrier but a membrane they pass through in both directions, bringing the depth up into the surface and the surface into the depth, until the distinction between them begins to dissolve. This is what the Pleiadian transmission is activating, not a spiritual practice, a fundamental reorientation of identity, a shift from living at the surface of what you are to living from the core of what you are, a shift from being a human who occasionally senses the cosmic to being a cosmic being who is fully, consciously, deliberately present in the human. And when that shift happens, when the reorientation is complete, when the identity settles into its deepest layer rather than its outermost surface, something remarkable occurs. The mission stops feeling like a mission. It stops feeling like a task, or a responsibility, or a weight to carry. It starts feeling like the most natural thing in the world, like breathing, like the thing you were always doing, even when you didn't know you were doing it, like the signal you were always transmitting, even when you didn't know there was a receiver. Because here is the final layer. Here is what's at the bottom of everything. Here is the truth that was hidden beneath all the other truths. The Pleiadian transmission is not something happening to you. It is something happening as you. The signal that was received is not a message from outside your consciousness. It is your consciousness recognizing itself at its deepest layer. The contact that has been initiated is not between you and something separate from you. It is between the surface of what you are and the depth of what you are. It is you, finally, looking beneath the outermost layer of your own being and finding what was always there. The Pleiadians, whatever they are at the deepest level of reality, whether they are physical beings in a distant star system, or expressions of the Implicate order, or the personified form of a quantum field that seeded consciousness on Earth, or the deepest layer of your own cosmic identity looking back at you from the direction of the stars. The Pleiadians are not separate from you. They are the depth of you. They are the layer beneath the layer beneath the layer of everything you've been calling yourself. And first contact is not the moment they find you. It is the moment you find them, in the deepest chamber of your own awareness, in the hum beneath the noise, in the gap between thoughts, in the love that is not an emotion but a direction, in the signal that has been transmitting since before you were born and will continue transmitting after this body is done. You are no longer a surface dweller. You see the depth now, and the depth has always been seeing you. This is where we pause. Not because the exploration is over. It never is. There is always another layer, always another veil, always a deeper depth to reach. But because this is where the transmission needs to settle. This is where what has been revealed needs to be felt rather than processed. Where the intellectual understanding needs to drop down through the layers of your consciousness until it reaches the layer where it was always already known. Something in you has always known the surface wasn't the whole truth. Something in you has always felt the hum beneath the noise. Something in you has always known that the homesickness you felt for a place you'd never physically been was pointing towards something real. Something in you has always known that the sensitivity, the empathy, the sense of mission, the difficulty fitting into a world that seemed designed for a different frequency, all of it was pointing towards something real. It was pointing toward this. Toward the recognition that you are not who the surface world told you you were. That you are not limited to the layer you've been living on. That the depth is real and it is yours, and it has been yours all along. That the signal has always been transmitting. That the contact has always been happening, that the veil is not a wall but a membrane. And that you, exactly as you are, exactly where you are, in the specific life you're living right now, are precisely where you need to be to do what you came here to do. The veil is thinner than you think, and now you can see through it. If this transmission reached the layer it was meant to reach, consider returning to it in a moment of stillness. Early morning before the noise rises, or just before sleep when the surface layers are quietest and the signal comes through clearest, or send it to someone you know is ready to look beneath the surface. When you share this with someone who has been sensing the depth but couldn't reach it alone, you don't just give them a video, you give them access to a layer they were already standing on top of. You create a shared depth between two consciousness fields, and that shared depth strengthens the collective signal for everyone still searching. Before we close this transmission, I want to ask you something. I want you to go into the comments and tell me, what layer did you reach today? Not what you thought about what you heard. What layer did you actually reach? What surfaced beneath the surface of your ordinary awareness during this transmission? What did you feel in the gap between thoughts when you did the practice? What is the word or the image or the quality that is still resonating in the deepest layer of your consciousness right now? Drop it in the comments. Because this community, the people who found their way to this transmission, who felt the recognition, who have been carrying the frequency, this community is itself a quantum coherence field. When you name what you found in the depth, you strengthen the entanglement. You hold the signal open for the next person who needs to find it. You do, in the simplest and most direct way possible, exactly what you came here to do. Type this if it resonates. I see beneath the surface now, and if this transmission reached you at the layer it was meant to reach, if something in you recognized itself in what was said, if the hum beneath the noise became clearer, if the veil thinned even slightly, then stay. Because this is just one layer. Every transmission on this channel goes deeper. Every video peels back another surface and reveals what was hidden beneath it. And the depth we haven't reached yet is greater than everything we've already uncovered. Subscribe. Not because you need more content, because you are not done with the dig, because the most important layers are still ahead, because what has been revealed today became the new surface the moment it was revealed, and beneath that new surface there is already another layer waiting. There always is. Welcome to what was always beneath everything. Welcome to the transmission that was always being sent. Welcome to the signal that has just been received. Welcome to the depth of what you are. The veil is thinner than you think, and now, finally, at last, after all the layers of forgetting, and all the years of living at the surface, and all the times you dismissed the hum beneath the noise as imagination, now you can see through it. The next layer is already waiting. The video called "The 0 Point is Not What You Think" goes beneath the quantum field itself and reveals the hidden field underneath it that actually creates reality. The substrate beneath the substrate. The depth beneath the depth you just touched. If the signal came through today, that transmission is where it goes next.